Good evening. You're watching RAS News, and tonight we have a special segment for you, investigating the shocking discovery made by three couples vacationing in a New England home. The home was originally rented out for the whole summer, but the couples ended up staying for less than a week. This story is told through a series of interviews and through footage taken by the couples themselves during their stay. We begin our story tonight with the first couple, Jenny and George.
Hey, so what are your names here? Who do we have here?
I'm George.
And Jenny.
Hi guys. So, tell us, how did you find this house?
Well, we were just looking around the neighborhood. We were looking to rent a place for the summer with our friends, Kate and Susie and Jack and Jim, and we saw this place, and I thought it just looked really fantastic.
And I had a good feeling about it too. I thought it was a nice place, old, antique. I thought it would be a nice place to stay for a little bit.
Beautiful grounds, close to the beach.
Day one of our New England adventures.
Gosh, look at this house, George. I'm sure it's haunted. Isn't it beautiful? We should rent it out for the summer. We can have Jack and Jim and Susie and Kate. It'll be amazing.
Now, Jenny dear, we don't know if this house is for rent or if it's even habitable.
Well, I'm sure there's someone inside. Let's go ask. Here, give me that camera. We're gonna go around to the side of the house.
Get out of this weather.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh, there's a creepy old lady over there. Let's go see. Let's go talk to her. We didn't see anyone at home at first, but we went around to the back garden, and there was an old woman there sewing some clothing.
Yeah, I believe the caretaker's wife. Hello, ma'am.
Hi. Do you happen to know if this place is up for rent? So we talked to her about it, and she said that a lawyer in New York actually could let us know if it was up for rent.
I don't know. The heirs to this place, well, they live in Europe, and I think there's a lawyer in New York that you can talk to. You know, me and my husband, we live in a room here. We basically just keep the robbers out. That's it.
What's his name, the lawyer?
The lawyer? I believe his name is Peter Johnson.
He happened to be a friend of mine, and so called him up.
So it all worked out.
Wow, that's really nice. So, did you like the house?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at first it was great. There was this gorgeous garden. The antique decor was amazing. It was really fun at first. Yeah. We had a great time with our friends.
So what put it off for you?
Well, we started having some strange dreams, and at first we thought it was great. We thought it was adventurous. We were excited. We thought finally something exciting is happening this summer. But then we actually started to look into the things that we dreamed about, and
then we found the bodies.
Once the other two couples arrived, they began to explore the house, particularly the basement and the gardens.
Let's see what's up here.
So Jack, what did you first think when you got to this house?
I was like fascinated by it. It was beautiful, it was large, and I could see all the stories I'd write, the haunted tales that I could make up. You know, like, it's the perfect setting for a creepy story. So I was excited, you know. Hey, what's in here?
Let's see.
Is that a baby cradle?
Oh, someone must have had a kid.
Strange place to put a kid.
I mean, they probably didn't put the kid in here.
Let's keep exploring.
Yeah. I believe so.
This vine is everywhere.
Yeah.
Scary. Coming?
Yeah, I'm coming.
I don't want to get stuck alone in this place.
Oh, that's for sure.
Look at the sun here.
No light. You got a light.
Yeah, I think the lights are out down here.
What's this water?
I think it might be a well.
How deep do you think it is?
10, 12 feet? I don't know.
Let's see.
It looks very, very, very deep.
Yeah.
What do you think is down there?
Water.
Let's see.
I don't feel good down here, guys. It's kind of scary.
I can't feel the bottom.
Oh.
Let's head back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see such a wisteria? This alone is worth the rent.
She makes so much of the wisteria because she can't find a ghost story of her own.
No, I pumped the housekeeper for 3 days and I got nothing. But I'm sure there has to be a ghost story. You can't have a house like this and a vine like this and a basement like the one over there and not have a ghost story.
I agree, and if we don't find a real ghost, then I will certainly make one. It's too good of an opportunity to lose.
You will do nothing of the sort. This is a real ghostly place, and you will not make fun of it. Look at that tree. It looks like a crouching woman.
It looks like a woman picking berries.
Stop, Jim. I believe Jenny's story as much as she does. Look at the trunk of that tree. It looks like a twisted body.
Yes, it does, Kate. See the trunk? Quite twisted.
Don't be so horrid. Go away if you can't be agreeable.
We can and we will. We can be as ghostly as you'd like.
Oh, shut that thing off, Jim, and let's go eat.
So guys, does anyone have any ghost stories from last night? I know mine left me without an appetite.
Oh, yes, I actually have one.
Oh yeah, go on, mine can wait.
So, I woke up in the middle of the night with this sense of dread. I swear it was so quiet I could hear every little thing. And the wisteria branch outside, it looked like it was trying to reach through the window with its twiggy little fingers. And you know the basement?
Oh.
I swear I could hear the creaking of that chain as if somebody was trying to use that old well.
Wow. I'm gonna put that on my blog.
Hush. Did you hear anything?
No, at the time I don't think I wanted to see anything. I mean, I woke up George, and he gave me some sleeping medicine, but that's the last thing I remember.
Well, it's not as scary when the sun comes up, but if you'd like, I have a story for you. I went down after Jenny's ghost. Now, I don't believe in ghosts, but I wanted to make sure no one had broken into the house, so I set off on a little adventure, and I assure you I will never do so again.
Oh, George!
Well, so I grabbed a flashlight.
Wow, that definitely made you easier to see.
And so I started heading towards the basement to find the well. So I was very careful not to fall into the well as I walked forward, and I used the light quite a bit. When I looked down at the well, I saw a woman, and the light shone right through her, and she had a red cross on her neck. Now I don't like intruders, so I tried to grab her and yell at her. Then I went back upstairs.
What happened?
Well, nothing, but she wasn't there. I must have been seeing things.
So Jenny, how did you feel about hearing George's story at breakfast?
Well, I thought it was all made up. I mean, I'd come here, I wanted to find a ghost story, but I didn't expect a real ghost story, and I thought he was just making things up since I had woken him up in the middle of the night. You know, he told me to go to bed. He told me it was nothing, and I really thought it was. I thought it was my imagination, and I didn't believe him that morning. So Susie, did you believe the ghost stories that your friends were telling?
I bet there's treasure at the bottom of that well.
To the bottom of the well then, Jack?
Yes, to do it.
Come in, Jim.
Come on, Dad. Don't.
This well is scary. I'm just scared of the ghost itself.
The truth is at the bottom of the well, and we must get her out. Help me with the chain.
All right, hang on. Oh, it's not so easy as it looks. Okay, here we go. All right.
What is this?
I don't know, let's see.
It's a flashlight. I can't.
It's nothing but water.
There's something in there. Dump it out here.
Oh my God.
How old do you think it is?
It was 3 months. 100 years maybe. It's very well preserved, but
Oh my God.
6 months.
It's big.
Very new.
After discovering the first body, they heard a scream from construction workers working on the outside of the house and ran to discover the source.
Jim, turn off the camera.
So how do you feel about that? I mean, it must have been scary.
Yeah, definitely.
What'd you guys do then?
We left.
Notified the authorities, of course, but we had no intention of staying in this house after the events.
Packed our bags and didn't look back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I would do the same.
So Susie, how did you feel when you discovered the bodies? Yes, I imagine it must have been very traumatic, huh? So George, you said that you saw a woman in the cellar the night before you found the bodies that had a red cross around her neck. What was your thought process when you unearthed a skeleton that had that same cross?
Well, I mean, I wasn't really sure what to think at first. I mean, I had just assumed it was a hallucination, trick of the light. Maybe my wife had gotten my jitters up because, you know, she had been talking about noises and things before I had put her back to bed, and I went to investigate. And then I find this skeleton with the same thing that I had seen on this figment I had assumed. It was very, very terrifying, very unnerving.
And you said that you don't believe in ghosts. That's changed?
Quite possibly, yes. I'll be honest, yeah.
All right. Did you end up writing about the house?
I did a small piece, not as large as I wanted it to. To be honest, after the whole incident, I was fairly freaked out, and I didn't really want to remind myself that much. I don't get scared fast.
What do you want your readers to take away from the piece?
I want them to be aware that how, even though we all like to have fun and, you know, joke around about the history of a house, you know, some houses actually do have a history, and sometimes it's not something we should mess around with.
So would you ever consider staying in this house again?
Most assuredly not.
No, I wouldn't.
No, never.
No, definitely not. I can't wait to get out of here. We dated the bones to the 18th century. Looking into the history of the house, we discovered that it was owned by a European family who spent only half a year there before returning to Europe. The house still belongs to the heirs of this family, but is rented out by a lawyer in New York who knew nothing of its dismal history. There was no official record found of any baby in the family during the time they spent in this house. However, there were letters found discussing the family's daughter's marriage to a more distant relative, in spite of the stain to her purity. Other records reveal that the daughter had passed away due to illness on the family's visit to this house. We can only speculate at the exact reasons behind the deaths of these two individuals. However, given the facts that we have unearthed about the family and the house, we can assume that the baby whose body was found was the child of the young woman whose bones were found. Were they killed by someone else in the family, or did the girl take her own life in shame? We may never know.